In the sultry summer of 1984, Miami pulsed with the vibrant rhythms of nightlife, the air thick with the scent of sea breeze and possibility. Neon lights flickered, casting colorful reflections on the glossy surfaces of convertibles cruising down Ocean Drive. Amidst this glittering facade of paradise, three women prowled the night, their beauty hiding a deadly secret. Blonde-haired Samantha, black-haired Vanessa, and pink-haired Ruby were as inseparable as they were lethal. They met during their freshman year at the University of Miami, bonding over a shared love for danger and the thrill of manipulation. By day, they were just three attractive college students blending in with the crowd. By night, they transformed into a trio of predators, luring unsuspecting men to their doom. The girls had a ritual that began with Samantha, the charismatic leader with a killer smile that could disarm anyone. She had a knack for spotting their next target in the crowded clubs of South Beach. Vanessa, with her intense, dark eyes and a mesmerizing gaze, would then draw them in deeper, creating an intimate connection that left their victims spellbound. Ruby, the wild card with her vibrant pink hair and a mischievous glint in her eyes, delivered the final blow with her unpredictable charm. Their latest target was a man named Michael. He was a successful banker, always boasting about his wealth and influence, making him a perfect candidate for their deadly game. They spotted him at a popular nightclub, his expensive suit and confident demeanor making him stand out. Samantha approached first, her blonde hair shimmering under the club lights as she danced her way towards him. "Hi there," she said, flashing her most seductive smile. "You look like you could use some company." Michael, taken aback by her beauty, grinned. "Well, I never say no to good company." Samantha leaned in, her lips brushing against his ear as she whispered, "Then you're in luck. My friends and I are always looking for someone to join us for a night of fun." Intrigued and aroused, Michael allowed himself to be led to a secluded VIP section where Vanessa and Ruby awaited. Vanessa's dark, smoldering eyes met his, and she immediately began weaving her spell, engaging him in deep conversation. Ruby played her part perfectly, adding an element of unpredictability with her flirtatious giggles and teasing touches. The hours flew by, and by the end of the night, Michael was completely entranced. When Samantha suggested continuing the party at their place, he eagerly agreed, oblivious to the danger that awaited him. The girls lived in a luxurious penthouse overlooking the ocean, a place that seemed like a haven but hid their darkest secrets. As they walked through the door, Michael marveled at the opulence, never suspecting the evil that lurked beneath the surface. "Make yourself comfortable," Samantha purred, leading him to a plush sofa. "We'll get some drinks." As Michael settled in, the girls exchanged knowing glances. Vanessa mixed a potent cocktail, adding a few drops of a special concoction that would render him unconscious. Ruby played with the stereo, filling the room with soft, seductive music that masked their sinister intentions. Michael took the drink, unaware of the danger, and downed it in one gulp. Within minutes, his vision blurred, and his body went limp. The last thing he saw before darkness claimed him was the trio of beautiful women standing over him, their smiles no longer friendly but predatory. When Michael awoke, he was bound to a chair in a dimly lit room. Panic surged through him as he struggled against the restraints, but it was futile. The girls stood before him, their expressions cold and calculating. "Welcome back, Michael," Samantha said, her voice devoid of the warmth it had held earlier. "We hope you enjoyed the party." "What's going on?" Michael demanded, fear lacing his words. "Why are you doing this?" Vanessa stepped forward, her dark eyes piercing through him. "Because we can. Because we enjoy it. Men like you are so easy to manipulate, so easy to destroy." Ruby giggled, her pink hair falling over her face as she leaned in close. "And because it's fun." Michael's heart pounded in his chest as he realized the true nature of these women. They were not just beautiful college students, they were monsters hiding behind pretty faces. "Please, let me go," he begged, desperation in his voice. "I won't tell anyone, I swear." Samantha shook her head, her blonde hair shimmering in the dim light. "It's too late for that, Michael. You were never going to leave here alive." The girls took their time, savoring the fear in Michael's eyes as they toyed with him. Each had their own methods of torment, their own ways of extracting the maximum amount of pain and terror from their victims. It was a game to them, a twisted dance of death that they had perfected over the years. Hours passed, and Michael's pleas grew weaker until they were nothing more than faint whispers. The girls watched as the life drained from his eyes, their satisfaction evident in their cold smiles. When it was over, they cleaned up meticulously, leaving no trace of their crime. As the first light of dawn began to filter through the windows, they disposed of Michael's body, ensuring it would never be found. To the world, he would simply vanish, another missing person in a city teeming with life and death. Days turned into weeks, and the girls continued their deadly game, each new victim a testament to their beauty and cunning. They moved through the city like shadows, leaving behind a trail of broken lives and shattered dreams. The police were baffled, unable to connect the dots, unable to see the pattern that tied these disappearances together. Their latest victim was a wealthy businessman named Robert. He was a regular at the high-end clubs and had a reputation for being a ladies' man. Samantha spotted him first, her instincts telling her he would be their next target. She approached him with the same seductive charm, drawing him in with her beauty and charisma. Vanessa and Ruby joined in, playing their parts perfectly, weaving a web of desire and deceit that Robert could not escape. They lured him to their penthouse, the scene of so many previous horrors, and began their ritual once more. Robert, like the others, had no idea of the danger he was in. He drank the spiked cocktail, and soon, he too was bound and at their mercy. "Why are you doing this?" Robert asked, his voice trembling with fear. "Because we enjoy it," Vanessa replied, her dark eyes gleaming with malice. "Because men like you deserve it." Ruby leaned in, her pink hair brushing against his face. "And because it's fun." As they toyed with their latest victim, the girls felt an exhilaration they had not experienced in years. It was a rush, a high that only came from holding someone's life in their hands. But as the night wore on, a sense of unease began to creep in. For the first time, Samantha felt a pang of guilt, a flicker of doubt. She pushed it aside, focusing on the task at hand, but the feeling lingered, a shadow on her otherwise perfect night. When Robert was finally dead, they disposed of his body as they always did, leaving no trace behind. But the unease remained, gnawing at Samantha's mind, a whisper of something she could not quite grasp. The next night, they went out again, seeking their next target, but the thrill was gone. The game had lost its luster, and Samantha found herself questioning everything they had done. She watched Vanessa and Ruby, saw the coldness in their eyes, and wondered if she was becoming like them. As the weeks passed, the girls continued their deadly dance, but the bond between them began to fray. Samantha grew distant, her thoughts consumed by the nagging doubt that had taken root in her mind. She knew they could not keep this up forever, that eventually they would be caught, or worse, turn on each other. One night, as they hunted for their next victim, Samantha made a decision. She could not continue this life, could not live with the guilt and the fear. She would leave, disappear, and start anew. But first, she had to deal with Vanessa and Ruby. The confrontation was inevitable. Vanessa and Ruby sensed the change in Samantha, saw the doubt in her eyes, and knew she was no longer one of them. They cornered her in the penthouse, their expressions cold and unforgiving. "You're not one of us anymore," Vanessa said, her dark eyes boring into Samantha's soul. "You've lost your edge." Ruby nodded, her pink hair glowing in the dim light. "We can't trust you. You know what that means." Samantha stood her ground, her blonde hair shimmering in the darkness. "I can't do this anymore. I can't live with the guilt." Vanessa and Ruby exchanged a glance, and in that moment, Samantha knew what she had to do. She lunged at them, a desperate move fueled by fear and determination. The fight was brutal, a struggle for survival that left all three women battered and bleeding. In the end, Samantha stood victorious, her former friends lying lifeless at her feet. She cleaned up the mess, disposed of the bodies, and fled into the night, leaving behind the life she had known. Years later, Samantha was a different person, living under a new name in a new city. The memories of her past haunted her, but she found solace in the knowledge that she had escaped the darkness. She would never forget the blood on her hands, but she had found a way to live with it, to move forward. The trio of serial killers that once terrorized Miami was no more, their reign of terror ended by one of their own.